Back to our channel. Now we are going to start part 2 of mammary gland. Now here mainly we are going to discuss the lymphatic drainage and also the development of mammary gland. So if you see the lymphatic drainage, it's mainly important to the surgeon because the cancers or the carcinomas may spread mainly by means of lymphatics, so to the regional lymph nodes. So actually this carcinoma of breast may pass to all over the body, so it should be very careful to find out the breast cancer early in females. So we'll see what are the lymph nodes. First we need to understand the types, different types of lymph nodes. So we'll see by means of diagram, so it will be very easy. So first the lymph node we have is called as axillary lymph node. So if you see here, which is present in an axillary region is called axillary lymph nodes, right? So this axillary lymph nodes are in turn divided into many types, like for example, the first lymph node is anterior axillary lymph node. If you see, this is the anterior axillary lymph node. It is like, you can say, the axillary tail of Spence, if you remember, right? It's a projection from upper lateral quadrant, right? So that axillary tail of Spence area only you will find the anterior axillary lymph node. And this anterior axillary lymph node is also called as pectoral group of lymph node because pectoralis muscle is also there. Next, coming to another part of axillary lymph node is posterior axillary lymph node. If you see here, the posterior. So according to the name only, the structure is also arranged. Anterior, this one, posterior. So just back to it. Posterior axillary lymph node. And next we have the lateral axillary lymph node. So just laterally, you can see here the lateral axillary lymph node. And after lateral axillary lymph node, you have the central axillary lymph node. You can see it is in the center between all, so it's a central axillary lymph node. And next one you have the apical receiving lymph node. So this one is the apical, just below the clavicle. If you see, this is the apical lymph node. And so these are the different types. So if you see, total 5. The axillary lymph nodes is divided into 5 types: anterior axillary lymph node, posterior axillary lymph node, lateral axillary lymph node, central axillary lymph node, and apical axillary lymph node. So these are all the 5 types of axillary lymph nodes. So next, coming to another lymph node, there is the internal mammary or parasternal lymph node. So if you see here, this one is the internal mammary lymph node or parasternal lymph node, right, which lie along the internal thoracic vessels. Here we have internal thoracic artery, veins, right? Before the diagram we have discussed. So this is an internal mammary lymph node. And next you have another lymph node, like some lymph may reach the supraclavicular nodes. If you see, just above the clavicle you have the supraclavicular lymph node, and you also have the cephalic lymph node, and you will also have the cephalic lymph node is also called as deltopectoral nodes. And you also have the posterior intercostal lymph node. So all of those different, you can see here, posterior intercostal artery, like that. In that way only we have posterior intercostal lymph node. So like this we have different lymph nodes. Posterior intercostal lymph nodes, it is in front of head of rib. So in front of head of rib, head, the rib in its posterior side will have the head, everything, right? So somewhere over here will be the deltopectoral lymph node or cephalic lymph node. And we will also have subdiaphragmatic. In the name itself you can see, below the diaphragm you will have the subdiaphragmatic lymph node, and also have the subperitoneal lymph node. It will also be over here because peritoneum will start here, right? So these are all the different lymph nodes, but the important lymph nodes among them are, which are shown in the diagram, like axillary lymph nodes, internal mammary lymph nodes, and supraclavicular. These are the main important lymph nodes to remember. Other, or if you forget also, no problem, the main lymph nodes are this one. So now we are going to discuss about this only, what is going to drain in what. Okay, so lymph nodes are like this, but what are lymph vessels? The lymph vessels are nothing but the way, like for the blood system you have the arteries and veins, vessels, right? So lymph vessels are nothing but just like the arteries and veins which drain into the lymph nodes. So as you know, the blood all comes into the heart, like that only. The lymph node is like that structure where all the lymph vessels come and drain into the lymph nodes. So lymph vessels are divided into superficial lymph vessels and also deep lymph vessels. So mainly the superficial lymph vessels drain the skin over the breast except nipple and areola. So here, if you see here, I wrote that point. You can see lymph vessels, the superficial lymphatics drain the skin. As the name itself is, superficial means they drain the skin. So they drain the skin over the breast except nipple and areola. you may think that in skin only have nipple and areola, but they are not drained by superficial lymph nodes. This is very important point. Superficial lymph nodes only drain the skin of the breast but not the areola and nipple. Next, coming to this, lymphatics which pass radially to surrounding lymph nodes, so that this because of this, the lymph which is passing from here may go into either axillary or internal thoracic, or also it may go to the supraclavicular and also to the cephalic. So it has a chance to spread to this lymph nodes also. What is that? Superficial lymph nodes. Next, coming to deep lymphatics, you can see they drain the parenchyma of the breast. Parenchyma means, you know, the main functional part of the breast is drained by deep lymphatics, and also it will drain the nipple and areola. So here this is an important point to note. Superficial lymph node as far as drains the skin of the breast but not the areola and nipple. So where the areola and nipple are drained by means of deep lymphatics. So the deep lymphatics drain the parenchyma of the breast and also drain the nipple and areola. Now let us see like how much of the lymph is drained by which structure. So if we say 75% of the lymph from the breast is drained into the axillary lymph node. In that axillary lymph node also, already we know axillary lymph node is divided into many 5 types. In that axillary lymph node also mainly it is drained to the anterior axillary lymph node. Very important. So 75% of the lymph from the breast is draining to the axillary lymph node. That too, the most common one is the anterior axillary lymph node. Next, coming to the 20%, the 20% is draining into the internal mammary nodes, if you know this, right? So axillary lymph nodes is most common. Among that also the anterior axillary lymph node is most common. 75% is drained by axillary lymph nodes. Whereas if you see the internal thoracic lymph nodes, these are also draining the 20%, next major one. Next, coming to the last 5% is drained by the posterior intercostal nodes, right? Posterior intercostal nodes will drain the last 5%. So this is already remember 75, 25. So in axillary lymph node also the anterior group is very common, most common for lymphatic drainage. And the lymph from the, so now let us see the flow of pattern from the lymph. So mainly the lymph from the anterior, if you see the anterior and posterior lymph nodes, from here the lymph will pass to the central and lateral. So this is central, next lateral, right? So we will draw the line diagram to understand how the lymph is flowing. So from anterior, posterior, they'll go to central, after central they'll go to the lateral, right? So from lateral where they'll go, let us find out. So it's like a route map. Let us see how the lymph is flowing. So from the lateral it will go to the apical. So this is lateral, right? This is apical, right? It is going to the apical. So from the apical the lymph will go finally into the supraclavicular node. So this is the way of pattern of lymph flow. So let us see once again. Anterior, posterior will drain into central, central will drain into lateral, lateral will drain into apical, apical will drain into supraclavicular. Once again, anterior, posterior to central, central to lateral, lateral to apical, apical to supraclavicular. Very easy, just you need to remember it. So this is a lymph flow, how it is flowing. So finally it's reaching the supraclavicular lymph node. So next you have the internal mammary nodes. If you see the internal mammary nodes, they mainly drain the lymph from the inner and outer half of breast. So not only outer but also inner half of the breast is drained into the internal mammary nodes. And next, the plexus of lymph vessels present deep to the areola, that is the subareolar plexus of Sappi, also drain into the anterior or pectoral group of lymph nodes. Anterior, we have the right anterior axillary nodes. So here, as we said, this is the most common. Even the subareolar means inside the areola there is some plexus, lymph plexus, that will also come and drain into the anterior axillary lymph node. And next, coming to the lymph from deep surface of breast pass to the pectoralis major muscle and to clavipectoral fascia and reach the apical nodes and also internal mammary nodes. So deep surface lymph is draining into the internal mammary nodes and also to the apical lymph nodes, right? And lymph from the lower and inner quadrants. Lower means here, right? The lower quadrant, this part. Lower and inner quadrants or lymph is communicating with the subdiaphragmatic and subperitoneal lymph plexus. With subdiaphragmatic and subperitoneal lymph plexus. Those are both also lower, right? This is lower, inner, these are also lower, so drain into there and crossing the costal margin and pierce the anterior abdominal wall through upper part of linea alba. So this lower part will go to the subdiaphragmatic and subperitoneal lymph. So by piercing the anterior abdominal wall through upper part of linea alba. So by this we completed the lymphatics. So it's very simple way. Now we'll go to the development. So mainly how our breast is developing. So here you can see breast development is mainly from ectodermal thickening, that is also called as mammary ridge, milk line or line of scalp. So I will show that line of scalp, you'll understand it. So if you see this diagram, you can appreciate the milk line or line of scalp, right? So this line of scalp is mainly ectodermal thickening. It's a mammary ridge or also called milk line. So it is extending from the axilla. If you see, it's extending from the axilla, and from the axilla it's going to the groin. It's going to the groin area, and it is appear during mainly 4th week of intrauterine life. So it's appear in the 4th week of intrauterine life, but disappears over most of the extent and persists only in the pectoral region. So this milk line is only present in pectoral region, but after few days, but in the birth time it is present wholly, that too in the 4th week of intrauterine life it start develop, but later disappear, only present in the pectoral region. So because of present in only in the pectoral region, it will later develop into the breast or the mammary gland. So you can see here, so gland is mainly ectodermal. If you see the mammary gland, it's ectodermal in origin, but the stroma is mesodermal in origin. Next, coming to the persisting mammary ridge converted to mammary pit. So sometimes if the mammary ridge is persisting, then it will convert into mammary pit and also form the secondary buds. So the secondary buds form 15 to 20, grow down from the floor of pit. Buds divide, subdivide, form lobes of gland. An entire system. So actually, if this mammary line is persisting, and it will form secondary bud inside, and later it will form the lactiferous lobes, right? Lobes of gland. So entire system, if you see the entire system of the mammary gland, it's mainly first solid, but later it will get canalized. Okay, the nipple is also everted at the site of original pit. And if you see, the growth of mammary gland is mainly seen only in the puberty, mainly by hormone estrogen, and secretory alveoli are mainly produced by means of progesterone, and also you can see here prolactin. So secretory alveoli are mainly alveoli which are present in the lobes, right, in the parenchyma, if you remember before video. So that alveoli are mainly produced by means of hormone progesterone and also prolactin. So remember, estrogen for the growth of breast and progesterone and prolactin to form the secretory alveoli in the parenchyma of the lobes. Now anomalies, let us say anomalies. Like what may happen? Amestia. Amestia means there is no breast development only. Athelia means there is no nipple. Polymestia means many breast development. Polythelia means many nipples. Gynecomastia seen in males. In male also sometimes breast is present, especially in the case of Klinefelter syndrome. So these are all the anomalies. Now we'll just see about the human milk. It's, if you see the composition, the ingredients, like that you can remember 88% is water. So human milk, if you see 88% is water, 7% is lactose, 4% is fat and 1% protein, and it's mainly containing the caseins and also lactalbumin. So these are the proteins. As we said, only 1% protein. Among them also there is casein protein and also lactalbumin protein. So if you see, there are some ions like calcium, phosphate, sodium, potassium, chlorine. Also you have antibody like IgA. So you can see many ingredients are present in human milk. So it's a very rich food for the baby, for the nutrition of the baby. So actually the milk which is formed for the baby is called as colostrum, and it's mainly high in fat, mainly rich in immunoglobulins, whereas the nutrients are somewhat low. And under the maternal estrogen, female baby secrete milk. Always we think that only mother form the milk, but baby also, if the baby going to form is female, then that female baby is also going to produce the milk by means of a mother's estrogen hormone and secrete the milk, especially in first or second week. And that milk is free from fat, and that milk is called which milk, as it's free from fat, right? So the female baby also form milk in the first or second week of the birth, and that milk is called which milk, and it's also rich in immunoglobulins. Not immunoglobulins. So it's not free fat, means it's not having any fat. So 5 to 6 months lactation. Yeah, actually the milking of the mother will be lasting for 5 to 6 months. So the infant will be weaned by total 9 months of age. So infant will get the pure milk and get all the nutrition. So mother milk is very important. So the breast gland is forming for giving an entire nutrition for the baby, either female baby or male baby. But in the case of female baby, she will also start producing milk in the first or second week. That is called which milk, which is without any fat. So this is all about our mammary gland. By this we completed mammary gland. Next we will start the deep pectoral fascia and also the muscles in the pectoral region and the clinical anatomy.